Hi, welcome to Business Ethics. I'm Tom, and today my video is just a short welcome video to say hi and to just give you some of the highlights of the course. Um, it's Business Ethics, as I mentioned. It is an online course. It's what they would say asynchronous, right? There are no live elements. It is paced, however, right? And this is an 8-week summer semester course. So basically, all the modules are doubled up. We'll cover everything in a regular semester, but in half the time. So I do want to make a couple comments about that. As far as the grade distribution, there are 3 papers in this class. There are no exams. And then there are what would normally be weekly assignments, active reading assignments to accompany all the readings, but those are going to be doubled up. So there's one per module. The breakdown is for each module, you will probably have a reading, my notes on that reading, a lecture video like this, which I try to keep to like 10 to 20 minutes, not too long, and a discussion forum, right? So you'll have 3 shorter papers, like 2 to 3 pages throughout the semester. They are a little bit loaded on the back end because we have to cover a certain amount of material before I think we can do a paper, right? The first paper. There's not a paper for the first 3 or 4 weeks or so, and then after like the fourth week, it's like every other week there's a paper due. Be aware of that. And then there are discussion forums where you answer a question or contribute, give an example or something that I ask about, and then you're also required to respond to another student's post, so everyone can kind of participate and kind of talk to each other a little bit. And then there are what I call active reading assignments, or ARAs, and there's a format on how to do that. There's a module before module 1 that has the active reading assignment instructions. It has an example, and it also has chapters 1 and 2 of our required text, right? So most of the readings are actually PDFs that I put in the modules, but we will cover some chapters from a textbook that you're required to buy. I do, like I said, I give chapters 1 and 2 in a PDF form. Between that and the other readings we will cover, I think you have a few weeks to get that that textbook. So hopefully that gives everyone a little bit of breathing room for that. And let me just make a couple comments about feedback. Overall, since this is an online course, reading my feedback is really, really important. And there's nothing I can do to kind of make you read it. So it's really up to you to log in and read my announcements and read the feedback I give you. As far as discussion forums go, I usually don't post to the discussion forum myself. What I do is I kind of go through everyone's posts, and then I will usually respond with an announcement, right? So everyone can kind of see it. And sometimes it's just like, this was a great discussion, and sometimes it's about talking about something that seems to be not right, or a common misunderstanding or something like that, right? And the discussion forums are pretty much graded on completeness. As long as you post an original post and a response, you usually get the full 2 points or whatever. Other than that, on the ARAs, I usually don't comment too much on them unless something a student is not following the format, or misunderstanding something, or I find a reason to really kind of chime in. Usually if I say like looks great, or nice answer or something like this, that really means that, right? I have read it, and I just didn't find anything problematic, and that gives you an opportunity to kind of like dig into the text and initial go, and don't feel like you have to understand everything in an initial reading, right? This is philosophy. We'll be reading very difficult texts. I don't expect everyone to understand everything right off the bat, right? The active reading assignments are designed for students to be able to kind of dig into the text and try to understand kind of the mechanics of what's going on in those readings without being held responsible. It's not like a quiz, right? So it's the ARAs are also kind of graded on completeness, right? If you do all the steps, there's 4 parts to it. If you do all 4 parts, and you're writing in complete sentences and trying, you'll get full credit, right? And then the papers, I give more feedback on those, right? They will be critical papers. You will be taking a side on an issue. They will be a kind of argumentative in their orientation. And I will be giving feedback, and that feedback is really designed to improve your writing and your critical thinking skills. And I will try to get all feedback back in a week or less, right, from when you turn in things. There are occasions where I go a little bit over by a couple days, but usually that's what you can expect from me. The last thing I will mention is that there is an extra credit option for this course. The extra credit option is to revise one of your papers, or actually up to 2 papers. And that's the first and second paper. We can't do it for the third paper because there's no time with final grade submission. But so for the first paper, if you write it and you get feedback from me, you can revise it and earn up to 3 points back, right? So if you got like a 17 out of 20, which would be like a B, you could get that up to a 20 out of 20, which would be an A plus, right? So that's a pretty good option. The main requirement for that is that you talk to me on Zoom or via email about your plans for revision. And that's to make sure you're on the right track, but also make sure that your revisions are manageable, right? It's not a rewrite. You're not redoing the entire paper. You're making some corrections. And that's also designed to improve your writing. So if you do that between the first and second paper, then typically your second paper turns out a little bit better, right? So it's kind of a win-win. I encourage students to take advantage of that. And as far as like policies, late paper policies, all that kind of stuff, take a look at the syllabus. I have all my policies spelled out there. I do drop the 2 lowest grades for the active reading assignments. I dropped 2 lowest grades for the discussion forums. So it gives you a little bit of breathing room to miss something if whatever happens, right? So that's it for today. It's just a short one, and we'll be talking soon. All right, thanks.